Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? I hope you're having a fantastic day. So let's talk about the transfers for this season. Alright, that was a dramatic side. That was a dramatic effect aside. Let's talk about them in detail. So let's start with the people that left. Now, obviously, in terms of the people that left, there was one big name that left, and that was Thiago Alcantara. Thiago has been at Bayern honestly for a very long time, since like Pep's first season at the end of 2013. He came in the 2013-2014 season and he was brilliant. I know there is a lot of people that dislike Thiago. I know Bild, for example, hated Thiago and Pep, because they never gave an interview. That's why they always disliked him. But I always thought, and there's plenty of Bayern fans that would agree with me, that he was always excellent. Obviously, there are plenty of Bayern fans that disagree, but that's absolutely okay. Thiago went to Liverpool. How important was Thiago for us in the past couple of seasons? I mean, he was always one of those like players that would get into the squad and then wouldn't. He wasn't never really a starter, I would say. Like he was always just thereabouts until like the last two seasons, where you could say 2 seasons ago he was a starter. Last season it was debatable. Last season it was kind of debatable. He was starting at the beginning, and then he got injured, and then he couldn't get past Goretzka when he came back, and because Goretzka was just better than him. So our midfield was Kimmich and Goretzka. Kimmich was our best midfielder last season. He was just always starting, and then Thiago got to fight with Goretzka for the position, and he really couldn't get past Goretzka. But then once Pavard got injured and Kimmich had to move to right back, obviously then we played with Thiago and Goretzka, and we all saw how that worked. We won the Champions League with that. So you could say, realistically, Thiago was not just realistically, let's face it, it is the case. That Thiago was a massively important player to us last season. Overall, his Bayern career, I think he'll go down as an excellent player. Well, do I think he'll go down as a legend necessarily? Not quite. For you to be considered a legend, you have to be. I mean, what's the best way to describe it? You have to be influential, not just great. You have to be influential. And Thiago, he was great. Like he was good to great. He had moments where he was absolutely amazing. But like overall, I think his Bayern tenure will go down as him being great, but not legendary. There's a significant difference. He'll go with the Champions League, trophy. He'll go with the Bundesliga trophy. He'll go with the DFB Pokal. He'll go with a lot of things. And you know what? I always be thankful for him because we won a Champions League with him, and that's really what it boils down to. Wish him all the best at Liverpool, and we'll see how his career pans out. But Thiago, I thought, all right, fair enough. We sold Thiago. Now we need to get someone in. It has to be. We have to get someone in, and nothing in terms of midfield. You could make the argument for Kwasi, I know, but we'll get into that later. And then we sell more players. Well, first, let's talk about more midfielders being gone. First, the rumors came out. Javi leaving. I'm like, Javi. He's won 2 trebles. He came and won a treble in his first season, and he's going to leave after winning another treble. Is that the fate of Javi? But no, Javi is still here at Bayern. Javi is still here at Bayern, and I wish him all the best. I hope he plays a ton of games this season. But he didn't leave. Instead, Croissants left. There's a I would say quite a big divide in Bayern fans when it comes to Croissants. For example, I don't rate him that highly. I think he's a good player. I think he has the potential to be absolutely I think he has the potential to be amazing. I don't think he has anywhere close to the potential to be world class. I think he's one of those players that people like because he's able to dribble. He's able to take a good shot. But I think as just in terms of being an actual midfielder, I think he's too limited. But we'll see obviously how he does at Olympique Marseille. But that's another midfielder gone. And that's an issue. Now in terms of the loans that we had obviously Perisic, who went back to Inter. We had Coutinho, who went back to Barcelona. And we had the king himself, Odriozola, who went back to Real Madrid. Odriozola obviously didn't really play that much for Bayern. Let's not kid ourselves here. No, he's the king. But let's not kid ourselves. He really didn't play much. He had 1 assist against Chelsea. Well, he didn't really play much at all. Just a backup right back. Coutinho started off strong under Kovac, but then once Flick came in and Müller started playing again, Coutinho basically didn't really get much minutes. I mean, he always came on to, like, help the team out and whatnot, but, like, he wasn't a starter anymore under Flick because, Müller was just that good. And where Müller basically played, like, half a season under Flick and he broke the assist record. It's like, yeah. Yeah. And then you had Perisic, who came in as an option to Coman, came in as an option to Gnabry, and ended up playing for both of them quite frequently. With Coman's injury, he came in, lit it off, and everyone's like, "Whoa, this guy's amazing." Yeah, this guy. I was actually, I can't believe I was. I'm reminding everyone about this right now too, because I always like to remind people about how right I am. But I think when Perisic played his first game, I said immediately, I can see this guy hitting 20 assists. Not because he's an amazing player, but because he's effective. He gets the ball, crosses in. He's great at crossing. He gets the ball, crosses it in. And that's how he's going to get assists. Now, he didn't play enough games to really get 20 assists, but, he was very effective. And it just shows you that, I can see talent. It's not really so much seeing talent, it's just seeing effectiveness. There are players out there in world football that aren't really talented, but are effective. And a player that comes to mind immediately is Thomas Müller. Müller, he is a great crosser. He is he's obviously fantastic, amazing, redefined a position at finding space, but I wouldn't call him talented. For me, talented it's not necessarily, not necessarily is about technical ability, or not necessarily goes down as dribbling, but there is just a very odd definition of talent. I might make a separate video on that, but like effectiveness. Müller is effective. Someone like Ronaldo is effective. When he was younger, I thought he had a lot more to offer, but like later on in his career, it just became effective. And these are effective players. Now, I'm not taking that. It doesn't mean that I'm like taking anything away from these players, because I know people will be like, you call Ronaldo limited? I'm not calling him limited. I'm calling them effective over everything, right? But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that like there are players out there that are just effective, and Perisic was one of those, which is why I think it's a shame that he left, because we kind of need that effectiveness, really. That doesn't do step overs, doesn't try to beat his man. Just like, okay, I get the ball, I can cross it in, I can shoot, fantastic, and the rest I'll make up with movement. Just like that, simple. Just keeps it simple. But Perisic left. Okay, cool. Another departure, because we had so many of them. Another departure, ladies and gentlemen. Because I couldn't remember Ulreich leaving, and I want to talk about Ulreich, but like there was one of the person I couldn't remember at all, and now I know. So Ulreich leaving. Ulreich. Now Ulreich is obviously a player that has had a lot of good moments for Bayern. Unfortunately, some unfortunate moments at Bayern, but I always liked him. He came here, knew he would be number 2, didn't complain about it at all. And he always, tried to, when he was called upon, when he was there to actually have to play, he always came and tried his best. And that's all I can say. I wish him all the best at Hamburg. I personally think there are better teams out there than Hamburg that he could have gone to. I think he could have gone to a first league club, in all honesty. But it's not the case. It's not the case. He is at Hamburg, and we'll see whether we'll see him in the Bundesliga or not. We'll see. Obviously, with Nübel coming in as well, it just makes it a lot harder for him to even have the potential of getting game time. So we'll see how it all pans out for him. I wish him all the best. Nothing but the best. And last but not least, a loan deal was Olivier. Well, actually, no, it was 2. Olivier Baptista Maya, who went to Heerenveen. Again, I'm keeping watch on him. I did a OBM watch. Like a loan watch kind of series. I wanted to turn it into a series, but it seemed like most people weren't interested in that. Like, the comments were like, there was like 1 or 2 people saying, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. So I was like, that's not enough people. Just seemed like nobody really cares about it, which is fine. People don't care that much about the youth team. I can understand that. Well, in this case, a youth player getting loaned out, I can understand that. It's very interesting to me. So I'm watching every one of their games. I've been recording every one of their games too, so I can always rewatch it. Watch how he performs, I guess, in detail. But I can understand if people are not really that interested in that. I'm not gonna blame them for that. So that's Olivier Baptista Maya at Heerenveen. And then last but not least, Fine. Fine. He's had a weird time, honestly. Like Hamburg, good first half of the season, not so good second half of the season. didn't really get any look in at all at Bayern, honestly, since he returned. So now he's going on loan again to PSV. And they're playing in the Europa League? Yeah, they're playing in the Europa, not Champions. Europa League. So he's going to get some time in the Europa League, which is great for him. He's going to be able to prove his worth. Show the world that you're the next Messi or something like that, as Pep Guardiola, or was it Joachim Löw that said that? I don't know who said that, but yeah, show the world that you're the next best centre-back, basically, or in that vein, basically. But yeah, we'll see how Fine's career turns out, whether he's going to come back to Bayern and get a starting position, or whether that's not going to pan out, because PSV have a buy clause. So we'll see a buy option. So we'll see how it all pans out for him and his career, of course. Now that's in terms of our players that have left us. Now in terms of our players that have joined, there are two. Let's start with the big one, Leroy Sané. Leroy Sané, amazing signing. Absolutely amazing signing. One of the best wingers in world football, world class, and we got him. So that's all I have to say. Very, very good A-class signing. We got that done relatively early. So I'm 100% loving it. Absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving it, ladies and gentlemen. Sané, world class. Amazing. Fantastic. Brilliant. That's all I can say about Sané, though. Next up, shall we start with our loan? Nah. Let's go with more signings. Tanguy Kouassi, or Tanguy Nianzou, aka Kouassi. Very big fan. Well, I was one of the first people that said, I think he's going to be very, very special. I think he's going to get a lot more minutes. And then he should, and then he got injured. 6 weeks. He should be back in about 3 to 4 weeks, so that's great to see. But what I like is that, since I've said that I think he's going to get a lot of game time, I think people are severely underestimating him. Because I watched PSG quite a lot. Not during last season. I watched them when we were, destined to play them in a Champions League final. That's when I went back and watched as many games as I could from PSG. And I saw him play for PSG. And granted, it was more towards the latter half of the season. But I saw him play. And I was like, this kid is good. And then I realized, wait, we signed this kid. We signed this kid. Wait, how old is he? Oh, okay, he's pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. And that's why I then made the video, obviously, saying that I think he's going to get a lot more. I think when he got injured, even before that, I made the video saying that I think he's going to get a lot more game. Or maybe I wrote it on Twitter. I don't know, right? But I know I said that I think this kid is going to really compete for a spot at centre back and maybe even slot in midfield. I really truly believe that he's such a magnificent talent. And then a funny thing is, Rangnick came out, and I'm like, when Rangnick comes out, I'm listening, because to me he's the best. He's the best talent scout in world football, and he came out this week, 2 days ago. So, and he said that for him, the best. Let me repeat that: the person that basically built the Leipzig project, right? The person that was basically in charge for the Leipzig project, right? The Red Bull project, right? He basically said 2 days ago, for him, he thinks that Kouassi is on the same level already as Konate and Upamecano. I'm like, bro, all right, I rate this kid. I hyped this kid up, but my goodness, it's not the first time he's actually hyped him up as well. It's he hyped him up a week before that as well. He was like, oh, this kid, we tried everything to get him to Leipzig because this kid is just so special. He's just one of the best defenders in the world. Now he comes out and says that, because everyone thought, he's talking about his best defenders in the world for his youth, for his age group, but now he's actually saying legitimately already on that level, on the same level as him. I'm like, bro, come on now. Come on now. I've been watching again. I watched a bunch of PSG games, and I wouldn't go that far. I don't think even Tuchel would have gone that far last season. Come on, bro, chill out. But hey, that just makes me even more hyped, because if a guy with such a great eye for talent is able to spot that, to say that with confidence on TV, I'm like, all right, fam, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. In that vein, basically. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing, when he comes back from his injury. Just amazing. Then Sarr came in right back. I'm pretty sure most people haven't even seen a single enough Sarr, but they were disappointed because he's 28. He's not destined. Let's just wait and see. All right. I can't say that I'm confident in evaluating Sarr as a player. I've mentioned this already, but I'm trying to go into scouting. I am trying to do that. I was planning on doing my scouting badges last month, but then Corona hit, so you can't even do the physical exam because Corona is there. So it's like, there's no point doing it right now. But I have been like just watching football, trying to get better at evaluating talents, evaluating players. And I can't say too much about Sarr because I've not seen Marseille too much. I saw about, I would say 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 games last season. So not that many. And when I say seen, I mean like not really watched, but more like, oh, it's on TV. Let me put it on. All right, let me continue doing whatever I was doing on my PC, and then every like few seconds, like, oh, okay, they're playing, they're still playing. Oh, nice, like in that kind of vein, all right? Because TV for me, football is always on TV, basically. So I always have it on TV, even if I'm not watching it. It's just I like the noise, all right? I like the background noise, I guess. But we'll see how he does. I like his attitude. He seems to really want to prove himself, and for me, that's fantastic, brilliant. Next up. I did Maxim Choupo-Moting. Not bad. I mean, obviously I'm not the biggest fan. Now with Ziyech not being loaned out, I'm like, I am. Now I'm like, I'm in one of those situations like, I don't know about that one, Chief. But we'll see how it all pans out. It's better to have an option than not to have an option, honestly. You know, that's the way I see it. I'm not the biggest fan of the option, but hey, if we have an option rather than no option, we needed squad depth. We have it now. That's basically what matters. We needed squad depth. Our first squad was already amazing. What matters is that our second squad, our actual squad, is able to come in, take a few minutes off the main 11, main 12, main 13, main 14, whatever, and that's exactly what he's going to be able to do. So I am okay with that. Next but not least, Douglas Costa, you all know my thoughts on Costa. In terms of performance, I think he's absolutely fantastic. In terms of attitude, I can't stand him. I can't. Like, in terms of his actual level, skill level, performance level, whatever you want to call it, I think absolutely brilliant, amazing. When he's fit, he's gonna tear it up, both the Bundesliga, the DP Cup, and the Champions League. But in terms of attitude, I'm like, fam, really now. That's my thought on Costa. Issues. That's what I have with him. I have issues with him. But hey, if he, proves himself this season, I won't complain. It's like I said, it's better to have squad depth than no squad depth. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. And Marc Roca, probably the steal. Actually depends how Costa turns out, I guess. But there's the steal of the transfer window for us. We bought him for 9 million plus 6 million in bonuses. Absolutely, for a player that like we tried to go for last season and would have caught, and the price quoted to us last season was 40 million, and we were like, nah, we're not paying that kind of money. To come back a year later and be like 9 million plus 6, and they're like, all right, fine, you can have him. I'm not getting perfect. I think a lot of us have probably. Actually, I probably shouldn't assume things. All right, I think a few of you lot probably have seen a bit of Marc Roca. I've seen a bit of Marc Roca, more than most of the other players that I can say for at least. And I like Marc Roca. I think he'll do absolutely fantastic at Bayern. I think he is the steal of the summer window. I think from all teams, probably the steal of the summer window. The steal of this transfer window, in my honest opinion. Now, it all depends, obviously, how Kwasi turns out and whatnot, but I think he is just magnificent. And best of all, he's going to be squad depth. And best of all, he's young, so he can get even better. So it's a win for everyone. A win for everyone. A win for everyone. That's what I think. Now, who else am I missing? I think that might be it. Am I right? Am I wrong? I think that might be it in terms of signings. Let me have a quick look. I forgot one player, and that is Nübel. I actually mentioned already earlier when I mentioned Ulreich, but I actually didn't really talk much about him in all fairness. Nübel, one of the most pretty much the most talented young German goalkeeper in terms of being young. But the issue is he's got Manuel Neuer in front. He's got look, come on, bro. Come on. I don't understand this. I actually don't understand this. To me, this transfer makes absolutely no sense. All right. To be 100% completely honest, this transfer to me makes no sense. Right. If you're the highest rated in terms of talent young goalkeeper in Germany, why on earth would you go to Bayern? Like, he should have stayed at Schalke. Like, why on earth do you go to Bayern, where you guaranteed not to get minutes? You're guaranteed not to get minutes. At every other club, you could make a case for, okay, I can fight to be number one, except at Bayern. Just, for me, I don't know what you expected, what you hoped for. You know, Neuer's not going to retire anytime soon. Let's not kid ourselves, right? Neuer is going to play for another 4 years at least, right? At least. So that means for 4 years, you won't be starting. You know, whereas at Schalke, you were starting. To me, it makes no sense. Like, he either overestimated himself or he underestimated Neuer. And if he overestimated himself, he needs to get himself a new agent that actually, you know, tells him what to do, how to actually correctly plan out his future. Or if you underestimated Neuer, then he's just foolish. So I don't know which one it is. Whether he needs to get himself new agents that guide him better, or whether he needs to look himself in the mirror. With all honesty and sincerity. I don't know which one it is. Now, he's going to get minutes this season. Maybe 1 or 2. Maybe in a cup game here or there. But, like, realistically, you're not replacing Neuer, fam. It's just not happening. Not anytime soon. If you would have come here, like, in 3 years' time, I would have said, okay, fair. But now, these are not the times where you could come in and make a case for it. You're not making a case against Neuer. Nobody's making a case against Neuer. It's just not happening. All right? You can learn from him. Fantastic. But you're not going to play. So to me, it's one of those transfers that, like, it's great that we have him, but it makes no sense. Unless, like, Neuer picks up a 6-month, 8-month injury, it makes little to no sense, you know? So that's why he's, like, yes, you know, he's talented, he's rated that highly, but, like, to me, it's a case of, you made a bad decision, bro. You made a bad decision. That was not a good decision at all, fam. Like, real talk, fam. You made a bad decision, bro. Like, it's just, nah, fam. It's just the wrong move, bro. Like real talk, it's just the wrong move, all right? There are 100 other clubs you could have gone to and gathered experiences, you know, gotten better, made a name for yourself, and moved to a club that would pay obscene amount of money for no reason. You know, you could have done 100 things like that, but instead you go to Bayern behind Neuer, the captain of not just Bayern, but Germany, and #1 performer in big games. What did you think was going to happen? Like, that's like me going to Bayern when Oliver Kahn was there and be like, yeah, I'm going to overtake Oliver Kahn. Like, bro, who the fuck am I? I mean, I'm amazing, all right? Let's not kid it. I'm absolutely fantastic, but who the fuck am I? Like, I ain't replacing Oliver Kahn. You're replacing Manuel Neuer. It's just not happening, bro. Like, I have a bigger chance, right? I have a bigger chance of going out there today, picking 5 random horses, which actually I've done, and winning £1 billion than you replacing Neuer. It's not happening, bro. So Nübel, to me, I don't know what he was thinking. I know what Bayern was thinking. Okay, we need a backup, so on and so forth. You know, talented player. You know, you can never have too many talents, so on and so forth. But like, bro. From my perspective, it's good. From his perspective, I don't know. All right. So let's actually evaluate the transfer window. Now, I think we're doing really, really well. So we say, well, we should have improved better in quality. You know, we improved in quantity, but what about quality? And that's a fair argument to make, but the thing is, our quality has never been lacking. You know, you look at our first 15 players, let's call it 15, right? You look at our starting 11, and then you look at places number 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't know who your starting centre-backs are, but we have 2. I don't know who your starting left-backs are, but we have 2 more, you know, besides starting 1. I don't know who your starting midfielders are, but now we have 2 at least for every position, you know. I don't know who your starting wingers are, but now we have 2 for every position, plus prospects, you know, young players, young talented players that can play there. I don't know who your starting attacking midfielders are, but, you know, we have 3, 4. Shoot, you can even make an argument for 5. You know, Musiala is really a 10. Then you have Müller. You have Tolisso who can play there. You have Goretzka who can play there. You know, you have options. You have Choupo-Moting who can play there. You can also play on the wing, granted, but yeah, you can play there. We have Sané who can also play there. You know, we have plenty of players that can play in these positions. So the way I see it, the way I evaluate it all is like, we have the squad depth. Like, we never needed first 11 replacements because our first 11 just won the treble. And that was even our first 11. That was our first 15, you know. It wasn't our first 11. Our first 11 had a lot of injuries, which is why, you know, it was other players that came in. But in the grand scope of things, the way I view it, the way I see it, is just a case of, yeah, fam. We're rocking it. We're rocking and we're rolling. We're going upwards, forwards, and onwards. And that's exactly what I always say at the end of these videos. Upwards, forwards, and onwards. So that's exactly what we're doing. We're going upwards, forwards, and onwards, ladies and gentlemen. So I rate this window, honestly, considering the lack of departures, considering that we made so many signings despite Corona season. I rate this window an A. An A. My rankings, by the way, are S, A, B, C, D, E, F. All right, so S is the highest. I give it an A. Reason for that is Sané. Sané, Kouassi. Kouassi has the potential to make it an A+, right? Because we'll see how his career, how this, you know, his tenure at Bayern goes. But like at the moment, I give it an A because we got young prospective players, but we also have players that are in the prime right now. Mark Roca, Sané, Kouassi are probably the standout signings. Then don't look away from the likes of Sarr, you know, who's a very attacking fullback. We'll see obviously how that translates to, you know, the player that he's, you know, going up against, I guess. Pavard, who's much more defensive fullback. And yeah, people are mentioning Thiago, like Thiago, this Portuguese Thiago. I haven't mentioned him at all for one reason. I know someone commented that I should like make a video about him as a signing. The thing is, right, I've not seen a single minute. Well, I've seen one game, and that's since the signing was announced. I've seen one game, but it wasn't even me like looking at it properly. It was just me like that basically. Like, just like every few minutes, like just look at it like, okay, that's where you have multiple monitors really. To have like one game on TV or one game on your monitor while you're doing something completely different on a different. Most of the time, I just play a video game. Yeah. While like on the other screen, you know, I'm watching football. So like whenever something's whenever I can stop and pause or whatnot, I can just look at it. I'm like, oh, interesting. Yeah, that kind of thing. Like, I'm not gonna pretend that I've seen games of him, right? I'm not gonna pretend that. So I'm not gonna talk about that. Also, Bayern hasn't mentioned the buy clause. You know, that it's been reportedly 8 million, but every single newspaper has mentioned it at this point. So I do fully believe that there is a clause. But I am not gonna like pretend like it's the best signing ever, based on like one or two YouTube compilations. I don't like watching YouTube. I do like watching YouTube compilations from certain accounts because certain accounts, they're not focused on like the wrong things that you should focus on. They're making videos on the right things, but like, yeah, I'm not really so much focused on like the YouTube comms, honestly. Like when it comes to YouTube comms, you can make a YouTube highlight reel of like Giroud, and he would look like the best player of all time. And that's what I mean, like moments. Football is a moments game, of course, but it's not really a moments sport. You need to be good for 90 minutes, and that's really what it boils down to, you know. So I'm not going to talk about that transfer at all. It could have the potential to be absolutely fantastic, you know. Who knows? He could be a world beater, but I'm not going to pretend like I think he's going to be planned for this season. I think he's going to be planned for FC Bayern 2. Maybe next season, and maybe I'll talk about him, you know, once I'll see how he progresses, I guess, for FC Bayern 2 or for our first team. We'll see. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I give this window an A with the potential of being an S-. I give it an A with the potential of being an S-, ladies and gentlemen. In terms of numbers, I would give it a 9. It's a 9 out of 10. I like what we've done. The only thing that really I dislike is that we waited until the last minute. But yeah, it's whatever. We didn't really have a preseason anyway, so the players couldn't really get into the squad anyway. So I guess it doesn't really matter if you do it last minute. There's the one transfer window where I'm like, okay, it doesn't actually matter if we don't get the signings in early. Usually I like the signings to come in early, to have a preseason, to get to integrate into the squad, have a few friendlies, so on and so forth. But like that wasn't really the case this time because there wasn't a real preseason. We didn't play a single friendly. So it's one of those things. Anyway, though, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you all think. As you can probably tell, I've been recording this on my phone. I don't know why, but I like recording on my phone because I've got this phone tripod anyway, so I might as well just like hold it in my hand while recording. That just gives me like the opportunity to sit somewhere else to not just always have the same scenery. I know the camera is worse, and I know the microphone is worse. I do realize that, but nobody's complained, so I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna pretend like there's an issue when there isn't, as long as nobody's complained. So yeah, you probably will see a bit more videos just from my phone. I always use the front camera, not the back camera, because with the back camera I can't see what I'm doing. But yeah, we'll see. We will see. We've got the internationals coming up now, so there are a few videos that you can expect from me. I will be talking about each transfer in detail on its own, but you'll see that when the time happens, when the time is here. Anyway, though, ladies and gentlemen, I will be seeing all of you in the next one, everybody. Until then, have a nice day. Peace out and